All right, we welcome UCLA student athletes Lauren Betts, Kiki Rice, and Londynn Jones, and we will open it up for questions for these three.
Greg Lee with the Spokesman Review. Lauren, you mentioned last night after the game that it was physical. You played through it because you didn't expect to call or anything. Do you think it's going to be even more physical against LSU?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we played LSU before. They're a really physical, really aggressive team. Obviously matching up against Morrow, she's going to be super physical and want to get every single rebound. So just making sure that, we come out with that mentality that we're just not going to let that happen and we're going to attack from the very beginning. And I think that just starts with, warm-ups. It starts with just making sure we're prepping the right way.
Nancy Hammer, USA Today Sports. This is for any one of you. What do you remember from last year's game, and how and why do you think that you are a different team and one that can handle that late game situation than you did last year?
Kiki?
Yeah, I mean, I think we all remember a lot about the game, the intensity, how physical it was, what a great matchup it was. Obviously we didn't come out on top last year, but I think just everything that we learned from their style of play and how we needed to come out and how we needed to be more prepared and just be a tougher team. A lot of our learnings from last year were from that game, and I think how we've attacked this season as an entirety and as a whole has really prepared us really well for tomorrow's matchup. But we'll be prepared, we'll be ready. We have a great team, a great staff that will prepare us. So I'm excited.
Eden Lassie, Hoops HQ. This can be for any of you guys. Coach O was talking about last night, one of the things that she couldn't believe about your team was that you had players like Janiyah and Tamia coming off the bench. How has it helped you, and what's impressed you about the way that, they've embraced their roles as, to bring that energy off the bench?
Londynn, let's start with you.
Yeah, I think we have just a really good team, and a part of that is how deep we go. And so it's just any given night where anyone can do their thing. Coming off the bench, it really doesn't matter. We just know our role. And I think that goes to just show you how powerful our team is. And so when they get on the court, there's no telling what they can do. And I think that's just the depth of it, yeah.
This is for Kiki and Lauren, if you could. We'll start with Kiki. I think you kind of touched on it, but Coach also said the differences from last year that you guys took were maybe more mental and confidence and maybe approach mentally. Is that accurate? Do you feel like you guys have a tougher mindset going into this game, or because of the things that you learned about in that game last year?
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I mean, I think we felt like last year LSU was a tougher team in that matchup, and a lot of our work during the offseason, just throughout this entire year, has been how can we kind of build that collective toughness to be ready for those matchups and be ready for physical teams, be ready for these kind of environments. And I think everything that we've worked on will prepare us for our game tomorrow, and I'm just really excited for everyone to see that.
Yeah, I think like Kiki said, I think this season we've overcome a lot of adversity and we've beaten really physical teams. And so I think just, learning from that, I think we have a lot of confidence going into tomorrow.
Duke Nguyen with the LA Times London, kind of speaking to that, Corey was talking to us about how she tried to create chaos in practice by doing things that may have annoyed you guys. But how do you think that's helped you just have a stronger mindset, being able to play through chaos, weird situations to be able to get here?
Yeah, it's prepared us for adversity. We face a lot of different teams, and so it's prepared us for that. And I think just going into practice with the mentality of like we need to get better and we need to figure it out no matter what's thrown our way. And I think that's helped during the season because, like I said, we've been thrown with so many different things, so many different teams, different dynamics, matchups. So it just matters to go like preparation. I think is a really big thing for preparing us for where we want to go.
Jacques Doucet, WAFB TV. Lauren, I just wanted your thoughts on the way Anissa Morrow plays as an undersized player. And although LSU doesn't have Angel Reese anymore, Samaya's really come on in the last couple of games. So can you maybe talk about their post play?
Yeah, I think they're both really talented. I mean, Moro, she's just a beast on the boards, and we obviously looking through the film today. I think tomorrow we're just going to have to come out with a really physical mentality and just making sure that we don't rely on our height, that we actually like find a body and box somebody out. So I think that's going to be really important. And then, yeah, I mean, both of them just really skilled, and I think, as forwards, I think we're just going to have to really step up and just, making sure that we follow the scout and we know what we're going to do. But, we can't go out there and just let the game kind of come to us. We have to come out with that mindset that we're just going to attack them first and be the aggressors. So.
Hi guys, Kendra Andrews, ESPN. This is for any one of you, and it's kind of along those same lines, but just what stands out to you about LSU's like three-headed dog of Anissa, Flage, and Michaela?
Kiki, would you take this one?
Yeah, I mean, obviously a great, a great trio of players right there. I mean, they're a great team in general. And I think what Lauren said looked like the great rebounding team and also a great mid-range scoring team. And I think for us to kind of be able to identify what they like to do, they like to get second chance putbacks. They like to, Michaela and Flage like to, operate out of those ball screens. And as guards, I think for us being able to defend those is going to be crucial, and for our forwards boxing out and our guards helping with that as well. But I think we're going to be prepared for their style of play, and we've played a lot of teams that are similar, and I think that's one of the best things about our conference. We've had a lot of different matchups that have kind of allowed us to get used to playing different styles of play, and so yeah, we're excited for the opportunity.
Kevin Pelton, ESPN.com. Lauren, as far as preparing for physicality, one of the things that Corey mentioned was your work with Coach Shannon, and I believe it's Johnny from the practice squad. What does that sort of consist of, and how does that prepare you?
Yeah, I mean, Johnny, all of them. I mean, we can go down the list of all the posts that we have in our practice squad. They're all really physical, and they really don't ever take it easy on me. So I think that's just prepared me and, made me a lot better throughout the season. I mean, I think, just going into every scout, I mean, they're always just doing their best to make sure that I'm mentally and physically prepared to whatever I have to go to. So I think just using that, just, going into tomorrow, I think just, or trusting my work that I put in, and just I think that's going to give me the confidence. So.
Nancy Armour, USA Today Sports. Kiki, UCLA has never made a Final Four. Given you all have had a terrific season and have accomplished a lot of milestones, but do you have to get to Final Four and then the championship game to kind of validate everything that you all have done this season?
I honestly think we're taking it one game at a time, focus on our next opponent. Obviously, right now, focusing on LSU. I think the most important thing for us this season is just the growth that we've experienced and how much better we've gotten as a program, and that will continue to kind of lay the groundwork and the standard going forward for many years for this program. But obviously we have aspirations of Final Four, a national title, and all of that. But, right now we're just focused on our next opponent.
This is for Londynn and Kiki. Coach talked about, obviously so much of the focus will be on Lauren and Anissa in that matchup, but she said it's going to take other players being an elite teammate, right? So what does that mean to you guys to be that elite teammate, maybe the person that's going to actually decide the game? And how much have you seen that play out this year as Lauren gets so much defensive attention?
Yeah, Lauren gets attention every game, but I think just being really good teammates outside of that, we know that we have to rebound. We know they're a rebounding team, so just helping post players out with that. And I think just being a good teammate, as in doing whatever it's going to take for us to win, whether that's rebounding, playing defense, talking, communicating, whatever it is that your role is. And I think that's going to be really important. But Scout prepares us for that, and I think we know as guards what we need to do upcoming from this game.
Yeah, similar. I think it's going to be about playing our role. Obviously a lot of attention will go inside and the forwards, and they're going to probably send a few bodies into Lauren. So as guards, whether that means, just knocking down those shots, moving off the ball, rebounding, being really good in the ball screen defense. But, it's going to be all about, playing our role and just stepping up in whatever areas we need to.
More questions?
We can start with Lauren, but if anybody else wants to jump in this, did you like playing Ole Miss last night? Does it help you guys prepare for LSU and the physicality that you're going to see again?
I think we loved it. Yeah, I think it was just honestly like a really good game to have before going into this LSU game. I mean, they're a really physical team, but we talked about it in film, like LSU's going to be even more aggressive. So just making sure that, we come out with that same mindset, but just earlier on in the game, I think will be super important for us. But I think we're all ready. I mean, we put in the work and we feel really confident. So.
Been able to do on the court, but Gabriella was talking about a little bit of you off the court and how you do a really good job at separating and not letting basketball be your whole identity. Can you kind of talk about like how that maybe helps just with the mental aspect of the game and not being too hard on yourself when things don't go your way?
I think that's something that I've definitely worked on, and it's, taken me a while, but I think that, not making this my entire world, obviously things are not going to be perfect all the time, but not letting this affect like the rest of my life. I mean, I love these girls. Besides just being my teammates, they're also my best friends, so I really prioritize my relationships with them off the floor, and just making sure that I get that one-on-one time with them is really important to me. But yeah, I mean, this isn't like my whole identity. I mean, I'm like a whole person besides all of this, so just making sure that I prioritize that as well. So.
Rowan Shaberg, the next. You mentioned the games that you've had, the conference, non-conference games preparing you for this moment. In a new conference with new teams that you've never played before, does that kind of offer a unique preparation for this postseason where you might be matching up with teams from different conferences that you might not know? Or is it just, Big Ten play, Pac-12 play kind of similar? Did it prepare you in a different way?
Kiki, you want to take this one?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think this year we played a ton of new teams that we hadn't played before, and that will for sure prepare us for, the NCAA tournament and just playing all the different styles of play. But I also think it prepared us from like a travel standpoint. I mean, in the Big Ten, we were doing a ton of cross-country road trips, a ton of, really long flights, and I think that's kind of what you're going to get come tournament time. So I think we're really prepared from that standpoint as well.